All right, here with Russ, Russ Yeager. Really excited, actually. Russ is great, one of the top online fitness professionals out there. I'm actually doing Russ's program too. Week 4, I think day 4 actually. So I had epic leg day yesterday, which is pretty rough. So I'm excited. But let me turn it over to Russ. Hey, Russ, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Lee. How are you, man?
Doing good, man. Feeling great. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what got you into doing what you're doing, and what inspired you to get in the pretty much to take over in the fitness world?
Yeah, man. Great job getting through that epic leg day. First of all, it's a tough one,
Yeah, it's
but
rough.
so man, people talk about the turning point or when they made a decision in their life, and I really had one. I was 10, 11 years old, and I'm 6'6". You can't tell sitting down, but I'm a really tall guy. I was always a tall kid, and not fat, but chubby. Again, I could spread it out, I could hide it because I was so tall. But when I took my shirt off at the pool, I had this big spread of fat around my stomach, and my buddies all seemed to have the flat stomach, the abs, and I hated it. I was jealous. They would tease me, and I don't think they were trying to be mean, but kids are kids, and I was a happy kid, but I really hated it. And I remember, specifically, again, I was 10, 11 years old, and my dad had just gotten a brand new VHS camera, one of the giant VHS, if you're old enough to remember those.
Oh yeah.
And he said, Russ, say something to the camera. And I said, my name's Russ. I like soccer. I like basketball. I love my dog Rudy. And then I paused and I looked down and I said, and I'm fat. And, my mom and dad both looked at each other, didn't know what to say, and then they're trying to make me feel better. And then my mom said the 7 words that really inspired me. And she said, Russ, you're not fat, you're just husky. And she said that because going back to school shopping, I had to get the freaking husky pants, and I
Yeah.
hated it. And I don't know if she was trying to make me feel better or if she was trying to light a fire. My mom was pretty good at that, but it definitely lit a fire, man. I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. Again, I'm a young kid. I didn't know. I just started running. I saw my dad, would run, and I guess I got fitter. But I love to eat. I still love to eat. We can talk about that. I'm not one of those fitness guys that eats dried chicken and broccoli all the time and loves it, and but I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't really make any progress. And I've learned now and teach my clients, and as you know, that I believe, yes, cardio is good for burning calories, it's good for your heart, but if you want to change your body permanently, the weight training is 100% the most important type of exercise. And so, in my late teens, got introduced to lifting weights, and I really liked it. I loved the feeling of it. Still didn't really understand nutrition. Started to learn a little bit more. Tried doing it on my own, and then I got into the workforce. My undergrad's in accounting. I have a master's and undergrad in accounting, some CPA. I was working late hours. Lots of business dinners and drinking and partying with my friends, coworkers. And at 27, Lee, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna finally really do this the right way. And I said, so I hired a coach, just like you're doing. I hired an online coach, and I entered one of those before and after, 12-week programs because I knew I needed to have a deadline, I needed to have a goal of program. I think we all need to have that. And so in 12 weeks, took my body fat percentage from, about 25% to under 5%, got totally shredded, won this contest, got to go to the Arnold Classic as a sponsored athlete, started writing for some of the bodybuilding fitness magazines. And that was it. I started getting more questions about, getting fit, nutrition, working out than I did accounting. And I knew I was much more passionate about it, and, got certified as a trainer, started doing online coaching. And then in 2006, quit my CPA job and had been doing it, been in the fitness industry full time for the past 14 years now.
Wow, it's exciting. That's inspiring too. I mean, would you say, because I was actually a fat kid too. I don't know if I shared that with you, and it's something, I always tell people I weighed, when I was 9 years old, I weighed 140 pounds. I was a big
Wow.
fat kid. My last professional MMA match when I was 31, I weighed 155, just to realize how much I weighed.
Wow.
So it honestly affected me most of my life, and got me into fitness and kept it going. Would you say, honestly, would that help you relate to a lot of your members, or a lot of your customers, I should say, and clients, like that you were fat once yourself? Because I know a lot of people think in the fitness world, they see these good, these people are great, they're in shape, that they were just always that way. Do you find this helps you relate to people?
I really do, Lee, and that's I'm glad you brought that up because when I first got into it, I was, man. I was the guy. I was trained by some of the top natural bodybuilders in the world, and they taught me to eat every 2 hours, eat the chicken and broccoli, or green beans, and then you rotate that with a protein shake, and that works. I mean, you can get in phenomenal shape, but the problem is most normal people, they don't want to be bodybuilders or fitness competitors, and that's not a sustainable way to live, and it's not enjoyable for most people. And so when I got into shape, I felt that I needed to put on this persona, which I think I know a lot of fitness people do, of we're super fit, and maybe not even trying to, but it comes off that. I realize it comes off that way. We're super fit, we're perfect. It's easy for us. We love, eating only health food, and don't like pizza, and don't like, to enjoy a glass of wine and all that kind of stuff. And it makes people feel like, well, man, I could never do that.
Yeah.
And I've realized now, when I'm, especially the past few years, just really open and honest about, where I started, that I was a chubby kid, that I still, sometimes, binge eat on, pizza and ice cream, that, I have that chubby kid come out sometimes. Again, I've learned to control it. But yeah, 100%, man. I mean, because I think I know a lot of people struggle with their weight, either, through childhood, or, maybe it came on later in life. So absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think there is that misconception out there. I think a lot of people think to be in shape, you have to you're eating salads and lettuce all day. And it's, I mean, that's not enjoyable. It's a lot of work. And I think that's maybe why a lot of people fail or just never even try to get in shape. What would you say are some common hurdles that you come across? Like when you meet your first clients, maybe they've been heavy for most of their life. They think they can never lose the weight. What would you say some of the more common hurdles you have to get them over so they start believing in themselves?
Yeah. Well, what you just said is the first one. They got to believe
Yeah.
in themselves, or they have to believe in me and my program to at least get started, or somebody else's program, right? It doesn't have to be me, but they need to believe in something to get them moving, so they can start to see results, so that they can start to have belief in themselves that hey, I can really do this. So that's one of the biggest ones. Time, right, is one of the biggest excuses. Time and money are,
Yeah.
two of the biggest excuses, but there really are, those are just excuses, right? I mean, if somebody is committed enough to really making a change in their health and their physical bodies, like you can make time. I mean, they're, some of the most successful, business people in the world, and busiest people in the world, and many of them, they talk about one of the most important things they do is take care of their bodies. And, I had the opportunity to speak on Grant Cardone's 10X stage in front of 12,000 people this February. And, I made the statement. I said, I believe putting your health, I was speaking to business people. I said, I believe putting your health first is the single most important thing you can do for your business, because you are the engine of your business. And if you're not sharp, healthy, energetic, confident, then there's no way your business is gonna, gonna thrive to the level that it could.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you see a lot of those stats out there. I mean, your Tony Robbins, a lot of his personal coaches always speak about, staying in shape, having some kind of physical fitness routine. I think I read a stat a few months ago, actually, most heart attacks happen on Monday morning. I don't know how true that was. I saw, but I thought, it's a lot
It's
related
true.
to your job and not being happy. I mean, it's amazing that so many people can't find that time. Like I say, you don't have to be a professional bodybuilder, but 20, 30 minutes a day, just somewhere in your schedule to be a little more physically fit.
Yeah, it's true. The heart attack thing on Monday morning is true, and it is sad. Most people don't love their jobs, and you may. I think it's important to follow your passion, and eventually, do what you love to do. Life's too short to do something you hate for 40 years. At the same time, there's the guys that say, hey, quit your job today, screw it, go follow your passion.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're 20, and again, I was 27, I just quit my job and said, I'm doing this, but I didn't have any kids. You're 35, 45, you got 3 kids and, a mortgage and all that kind of stuff. It's not as easy, but
No.
I can tell you this, if you start taking care of your health and you're physically fit and you're going to be happier, more confident, I guarantee you're going to enjoy that job, a little more, even if it's not your ideal thing. And then, doors will start to open, for getting where you really want to go. So it
Yeah.
all starts with health, man.
Yeah, and I got to ask you too on your programs. Like I said, it's week 4. I'm doing it now. I am eating all the time. You know, you got the 7 meals, and I'm still feeling hungry. You know,
Yeah.
I was kind of a little. If you can give me a little feedback on that, like what is your approach to diet and nutrition? And I mean, I think of my schedule. I mean, I get fairly early, but I'm still probably eating every 2, 3 hours. I'm either having a meal or a snack, you know, a
Yeah.
protein shake. You know, I'm still feeling
Mm.
hungry. You know, I got to
Yeah.
be honest with you on that. But it's like, how? I mean, just explain a little bit on your methodology. How do you approach nutrition and diet?
Yeah. So it's a good. So number one, that's a good thing. If
Mm.
you're hungry, that means you're burning fat,
Yeah.
and metabolism is going. So you're probably noticing you're dropping fat, right?
Mm. Oh yeah, without a doubt. You know, I was going to add
Yeah.
that too. I haven't necessarily lost pounds. I think I'm maybe 1 or 2 pounds in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But the body transformation itself, you know, my wife mentioned it first. Then, you know, it's hard when you see people every day, you don't really notice. But she mentioned it the other day, and it was just about 2 days ago, 3 days ago. This week, I started noticing it myself when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely seeing the transformation happening.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always a sign that means your metabolism's going. That's good. And I've realized if you want to get, especially really lean, and again, everybody has different goals, but if you want to get, sub 10% body fat, you're going to have to be a little hungry. Now, I've learned techniques and I can share some of those. And I don't think it's the best. I can discipline myself. Again, when I did natural bodybuilding, I mean, I would have such a huge calorie deficit. I'd be lifting weights, an hour a day, doing cardio a couple hours a day, and it was brutal. I'm
Mm.
freaking basically starving, and I
Yeah.
could make myself do it, but that's not sustainable. But you're probably, to get really lean, you need to be a little hungry. I mean, yeah, it would be great if you could eat as much as you want of whatever you want, never be hungry, be completely satisfied, and still lose fat. I haven't figured that one out yet, but there are techniques to be able to, like keeping a slightly smaller calorie deficit, about maybe 300 to 500 calories, where it's enough to burn fat on a regular basis, but it's not so much that you're, starving or tired, any of those kind of negatives. So to answer your question, my theory on nutrition, it's evolved over the years. Again, I was taught by top natural bodybuilders in the world. So you're eating every 2 hours to rev up your metabolism. You're always getting protein. You're eating clean, foods. Your vegetables, your potatoes, rice, all those kind of bodybuilding foods. So that's I followed that for a long time, and again, it works. And that's similar to what I have in the Body Transformation University that you're going through. We talked about this beforehand before we came on air. The reason I did it that way is because I said, okay, I'm going to make this Body Transformation University, and I need to make it the best of everything I've learned over the years. In the past 20 years, working with, investing tens of thousands of dollars with, some of the top coaches, fitness professionals in the world, everything I've learned personally with my clients, I'm going to put it all in there. And it is in there. And if you follow it 100%, my goal is to say, man, you can be like on the front of a fitness magazine. The reality though is most men, or women, they're not going to follow it 100%. They're going to follow it, 65, 70%, and they're still going to get in the best shape of their life. And that's where it comes into finding what works best for you and coaching and doing like you and I've been doing. But here's where I am with nutrition now is when people talk about nutrition, it's really confusing, and people talk about, eating healthy, right? And then people talk about losing weight. And what I've realized is eating healthy and eating, let's say, to look good or lose weight, they're not the same thing. And here's proof. Eating healthy is doing things like, right, eating your fruits and vegetables, getting plenty of water, right, getting your, omega, 3, fats, all the healthy stuff, and staying away from processed foods, right, too much sugar, too much alcohol, too much junk, all that kind of stuff. Straightforward. But there's people that do that, maybe vegetarians, but then they're like, man, they're overweight or they don't really look good.
Yeah.
Right? And on the flip, so eating to look good all comes down, and eating healthy is important, right? Because you don't want to have, you don't want to have an unhealthy body. But eating to look good, here's one of the secrets of fitness competitors and these people that stay shredded. It all comes down to your calories and your macronutrients. And so calories pretty straightforward. People know what those are. Macronutrients are just the three types of calories: protein, carbohydrates, and fat. And if you know how to get your calorie level right and your macros right, and I can even more simplified, getting your protein right. I don't worry about carbs and fat that much. you can have a lean, fit, muscular physique eating junk food as
Mm-hmm.
long as your macros right. I know that sounds crazy, but it's super true. And you may see people, and I have to be careful of this. Remember, fat kid that loves to eat junk is you can look good, but be unhealthy. Well, that's no good either. So here's to sum it up, Lee. Here's my philosophy: eat mostly healthy food because that for longevity, health, energy, right? All that's important. About 70, 80% healthy food. 20 to 30% eat whatever you want. Yep, I said it because I think it's unrealistic to never have the things you really enjoy. You can do it for a period of time, but then you're going to be like, again, it's like it's not realistic, and now you're starving, and you end up binging and saying screw it, this is too hard. So 20, 30% of the time, eat guilt free, whatever you enjoy. But 100% of the time, or 100, as close to 100 as you can, get your calorie level right based on your goals. And if your goal is to lose fat, you want to be in a slight calorie deficit, right, 200 to 500 calories. And then get your macronutrients right, your protein, carbs, and fat. A lot of people talk about macros, and a lot, keto diet, low carb diet, super popular, right? Carbs are bad. I disagree with that. I like eating carbohydrates. They're our body's preferred source of fuel. And so I don't really worry about carbs and fat so much. I get my calories right. I get my protein right. And then for, what is right for calories, as I mentioned, you need to find, about that 300 to 500 deficit. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to build muscle, you want to have about a 200 to 300 calorie surplus over your maintenance. And how do you find your maintenance? It's not an exact science. A good starting place is to take your current weight times 15. So if you weigh 200 pounds, that would be 3,000. I think I'm doing my math right. And then if you're trying to go in a deficit, you'd say take 400 or 500 calories off of that. And again, then you've got to track those because it's not a perfect formula, but you need to see what's happening with your body because everybody's different in terms of their metabolism and everything. So you do that, then you get your protein right. Well, how much protein do you need? There's different theories on that. Again, back when I was bodybuilding, I would eat 400 or 500 grams of protein. You got to get your protein. What I found now and it works well for me and my clients is eating, about 0.75, 0.8 grams up to 1 pound, up to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're eating 170 to 200 grams protein, which is still a lot of protein. Most people get nowhere near enough protein. For ladies, females, I recommend a little bit less, about 0.5 to 0.6 grams per pound of body weight. And then carbs and fat, I let them fall where they fall. So I know that was a lot. So to sum it up, man,
Mm-hmm.
eat mostly healthy foods, enjoy some foods that aren't necessarily healthy, get your calories right, get your protein right, and then whether you do that in 6 meals a day or 2 meals a day, or somewhere in between, you do what works for you. I've actually been doing intermittent fasting, as we were talking again beforehand, for the past couple of years. I like to use myself as a human guinea pig, and I really like it. I'm busy guy. I run 3 businesses, have 3 kids. I don't have to think about, making all the meals. And then I get to eat. I have a big appetite, so I get to eat, 2, 3 big meals a day, and it works really well for me. And I found the differences are pretty small between eating 6 meals a day and eating 2 meals a day in terms of your results. They're very, very similar.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you mentioned that about the carbs and the diets. I've been in the fitness world professionally working in about 20 years, and there's always some crazy diet, crazy fad. And you see people get results on it, but I've always wondered how's it going to last? They're miserable. They cut out all their carbs. But they love pizza, they love bread. So it never, to me, it's never made sense to have a diet where you cut out all the things that you enjoy. It just seems crazy to me, honestly, and kind of miserable. I think that's why you see a lot of these balloon diets. People drop 20 pounds, then 6 months later they've gained it all back. And the
Yeah.
way you explain it's great. That's a lot of bringing depth, by the way, on your diet. That's a lot of good knowledge right there for somebody.
Yeah, you're right. It is miserable and it's unsustainable. That's one of the biggest things I can't say, and that's why what I described, you can fit a lot into that, right? A lot of people say, well, you got to do keto, you got to eat 6 times a day, or you got to do intermittent fasting. Like that puts you in a box. But again, if you can get your calories right, one thing I've learned, if you're trying to lose weight, you got to track calories. There's no way around it. Again, you can eat all the healthy food in the world. If it's too many calories, you're gonna you're going to have too much body fat. But, if you can, you got to find something that works for you. Adherence and longevity are way more important than the specifics of what you're doing. So find
Mm.
something that you enjoy, at least, to a degree, and it works for you.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit more about that fasting. That's something I guess over the last few years I've been hearing more and more about it. And I guess you're a believer in it now. You're doing the intermittent fasting. Can you tell a little
I
bit
am,
your
man.
process?
Yeah, it's been around a long time. It's not anything new, but just kind of like everything, it cycles
Yeah, it
around in
does. Yeah.
marketing, and it gets so it's gotten super popular. And again, I came from the school of thought, well, you got to eat every 2 hours, or bodybuilder, you're going to melt away. But again, I'm become open minded. I said, well, hey, man, I'm seeing this everywhere. I'll try it. I'll try anything once. And it took some getting used to, but now again, for the reasons I described, I really like it because I don't have to worry about eating through the morning. I usually have my first meal about noon. I'm not, so they, one of the normal, most popular ways that people fast for fitness, or intermittent fast for fitness, is it's called a 16-8. So basically you're fasting for 16 hours and during the 24-hour day, and then for 8, you're eating all of your calories in 8 hours,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the whole, the principles behind it is that during the 16 hours, there's no food in your stomach, so you're burning only body fat, right? One of the theories is supposed to also keep your insulin levels, more stable. There's health benefits. There's studies show health benefits. Reduced risk of heart disease, all kinds of good stuff. And then and then during that 8-hour window, you're eating all your calories. And so I do it. I mean, the health benefits. I've looked at some of the research. It makes sense, so I like that. The main reason I do it, though, is again, it works for my lifestyle, because it saves way more time than having to make a bunch of little meals. And I have a big appetite. If I eat a 400 calorie meal, I'm like still starving. Whereas if I eat a 1200 calorie or
Mm-hmm.
1500 calorie meal, man, I'm like super satisfied. And for me, it's easy to go through. It's easy to go those 16 hours. 8 of them. If you sleep 8 hours, that's half of them. You're sleeping anyway.
Yeah.
And so that's yeah, man. I really do like it, but it's not for everybody. Some people don't want to do that. I have clients that work with me that they're like, no way, man. Like I don't want to do that. And it's not a magic pill. It's kind of been fantasized where it's like, as long as you intermittent fast, you can eat as much as you
Yeah.
want or whatever you want during the window. No, see, yeah, if you eat too much, even if it's a 3-hour window, you're still going to gain weight.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of BS. That's the problem I think in the fitness world, which gives a lot of us a bad name. You get all these magic pills out there, these super diets, and at least me personally, when I'm investigating things, as soon as I see somebody try to claim it's a magic pill or some secret formula, I usually just change the page. I mean, I just find nothing into that. This has been a
Yeah.
ton of great information, Russ. Before I let you go, though, I want to ask a good daily unique habit. What's something you do that makes Russ who he is every single day that that you can share with other people and maybe help them?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of health and fitness, I have my plan, and my plan changes, which I think is important. I believe in making health fitness your lifestyle, right? But I also believe in big believer in short-term goals, because if it's just, hey, health and fitness is my lifestyle, you're gonna naturally get complacent and bored. It's hard to stay motivated. But if it's your lifestyle, but you also have these little challenges, whether it's running a marathon, or whether it's getting under 10% body fat, or whether it's doing a Spartan race, or whatever, having something to be excited about in the short term is super important. And then executing. I mean, it's not again, I hear people say I don't have time. Like for me, no matter how busy I am with my business or what's going on, like it's not a if, like it's a non-negotiable. It's a must that I'm going to get my workout in, and then it's a must that I'm going to take care of myself. That I'm going to get my sleep and my rest and recovery, which I haven't always been great at. And it's a must that I do something, at least one thing, and hopefully more than that, but one thing to actually move myself and my business closer to my goals. I think too many people go through the day and they're working their ass off and moving 100 miles an hour, but they didn't do anything to get themselves closer to their goals. And that's a real shame. Whereas I found, if I can do something that's going to get me closer to my ultimate goals every day, even if I don't do everything I need to do or don't do as much, I'm continually moving forward, and progress is super important. And then to always spend time, unless it's a rare exception, at least in the morning or at night, spend some time, quality time with my wife and my kids.
Yeah. Hey, this is awesome, Russ. This has been knowledgeable, extremely inspiring. I love how you say the must instead of shoulds. I remember reading about that you guys start changing your shoulds to must. That's the only way you're going to get things done. So I am going to put links in the video, but for maybe people who only hear the audio, how should people get a hold of you if they want to learn about the BTU or anything else you want to promote? How do you want people to contact you?
Yeah, so if you put a link to the Body Transformation University, they can check that out, and then they can find me at russyeager.com. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Hey, Russ, thanks very much. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and it's always great talking to you.
Definitely, brother. You too. Keep up the great work.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.